What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Bimmer barn. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be working on the 335i wagon, but at the same time I'm hoping to talk to you guys about a couple of things around the shop, around the garage, and things that I'm planning for the channel that I'm hoping you guys can give me some feedback on. So kind of more like a vlog style today, but we're still going to be working here in the shop. We've got to install Powerflex sway bar bushings in the rear end. Hopefully we can get that done and talk about some new and exciting things. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right to work. So here's my car. I've already got it lifted on the quick jacks, and you've seen me do that a million times before, but we've got to remove the wheels here and then the 4 bolts for this subframe. Make sure that, you know, things are loose enough for us to lower it probably about 2 inches, and then there's 2 of the subframe bushings on each side. Honestly, I don't think that we need to remove the sway bar, so we probably might not need to remove the subframe at all, but I guess we'll find out. So let's go ahead and pull the wheel off. Well, it looks like we can probably reach the sway bar bushing. Hopefully we can loosen the sway bar and slide those bushings down and off of it and then replace them without ever touching the subframe. So that would be a really quick and easy install, and that would save us a lot of time today. Now that was a lot easier than I anticipated. Look at that beautiful purple bushing in that sway bar bracket, and it matches really well with the yellow bushing from the subframe. And also remember, we have the differential bushing upgrades in here too. So overall, I love polyurethane bushings, and I'm glad that we were able to get these in, and it saved us a lot of time instead of having to remove the subframe. So let me go ahead and put the wheel back on, and then we'll talk about some of our plans with the channel. So we're going to pause working on the wagon right now to give you kind of like a fleet update of all the cars. Now, as you may know, the M5 is currently not registered. I'm driving the 550i instead, making sure that everything is up to par on this build. And also, I have some sort of oil burning issue on this car, and I did replace the PCV valves that are in the front, but after driving the car another few hundred miles, it did appear to be burning oil about a quart every 1,000, which is much more than should be for this engine. So I definitely want to look more into that, probably take off the intake manifold at some point, but that is on the back burner because this 550i build really needs to, I guess, get finished. That way we can list the car for sale and auction it off. And I have some funny plans that I want to talk to you about for auctioning this car, which I think would make it a really cool experience for those of you that are watching right now. Now, a few of you subscribers and fans of the channel have mentioned your interest in possibly buying this beautiful E60 550i, and I would love more than anything to sell it to one of you guys because I would know that the car would be going to a good home. But at the same time, I also have to make sure that I turn some sort of profit on the builds that I sell from this channel, because it does add to the income for me personally. That helps me sustain making content, tutorials, DIYs, and videos for you guys to enjoy at home. So I hope you understand. I kind of just been toying around with different ideas of how I can handle this and possibly auction it off to you guys. So I would love to hear your feedback, because one of the things that I thought would be cool was if we possibly auctioned it on YouTube live, and that way we would have everyone watching the channel. They could see what the car goes for. It would go to one of you guys subscribers. Maybe I'd have to like sell tickets or something just to make sure that there was like an entry barrier so that we don't have just random people coming into the YouTube live and trying to make bids, but some sort of way that we can make sure the card goes to someone in this community. You know, those of you that are always commenting and trying to help out, sharing knowledge and stuff, I really appreciate that. And we have some really cool members of the community, even those of you that are just lurking and just soaking up knowledge. So by selling it to someone in this small pool of people, deal. The auction will probably end up at a much lower price than if I were to put it on Cars and Bids or bring a trailer or something like that. So I think it would benefit everyone, and at the end of the day, maybe we could track and see where the car goes from here. So let me know what you think of this idea. Obviously, there'd be some things that I need to handle on the back end, but it might be worth it if you guys are interested. But now let's go ahead and look at the other builds that we have here on my driveway and what their status is. Now, I'm not gonna go outside because it is starting to rain here in Florida. Just, you never know here in Florida, the weather is just kind of crazy. But under the tarp here, we have my E39 528i Touring. Obviously, you can see that big hatch in the rear. This has kind of been sitting for a while because I have a drivetrain to swap into it, actually a 525i drivetrain. So we'll be doing an M54 swap with a 5-speed manual, and that's gonna be a really cool build. But first, obviously, we wanna get the 550i taken care of. And once this is sold, we should be able to get the 335i done with all the cool upgrades, turbo work, and stuff for the engine as well. So kind of a process, number one, number two, and then we'll take care of this build. And over there is the E46 M3 that I'm working on for a friend, and you might see some content on this in the coming weeks. Let me know if you guys would like to see anything specifically, but it should be a pretty cool car to do some really normal maintenance for the S54 platform. Now, I was doing some coding recently on the 335i, and I made kind of a little revelation because I really want to get the cruise control working, and I'm able to get most of the coding errors off on the dashboard, but there's still some errors in the modules, such as the DSC, which I guess is getting a signal from the LDM module, but I don't think it's supposed to be connected. And this is an older car, so they kind of work differently. Anyways, I think we need to disconnect the LDM and see if we have cruise control working again on this car, and hopefully if we do, that would be a really cool next step in this build. So let's go ahead and try that out. So that LDM is up in the front by the CAS module actually, and the traditional, I think like the 2008 up cars, they would have one underneath the carpet here. But the reason that my car has a fault, I think, is because the DSC module is coded and it has the production year of a 2008, and so the programming from that year would tell you that if the car did not have active cruise control, that it would not have an LDM module. But on the early cars, 2006 cars, they came with an LDM module whether or not the car used active cruise control. So my car still has it. This thinks that it needs to be operational, but the DSC doesn't need the signal. So I think that by disconnecting it and hopefully clearing out all the codes, we should hopefully get rid of those fault codes. So a lot of the codes that you're seeing right here are just from, I guess, the car having low battery. So we're just going to go ahead and delete, and we're just going to see what comes back, and that's going to tell us what's important. All right, sweet. So it looks like just DSC brake pad wear for the rear axle, just a brake pad wear sensor in the rear of the car, and no more LDM faults, which, trust me, I was chasing different coding configurations for a while, and finally I just thought, wait a second, I don't think I should have that plugged in at all. And remember, there was none underneath the carpet here because I did have to check at one point, but it ended up being up here under the dashboard, and now we've got it disconnected and that problem is solved. So let's go ahead and take it for a test drive and see if the cruise control works. All right, let's try it. We're gonna press the button. Oh, it works! Look at that, my foot is off the accelerator pedal and it's holding the cruise control. Fine, perfect, all, wow. The functions work, so it goes down 5 miles an hour, goes up 5 miles an hour. Man, that's awesome. I'm so glad that we figured that out. So I'll say that I'm definitely a big fan of learning by doing, and this car has definitely taught me a lot about different coding options on the E90, just ways that it was wired, chassis differences, module differences, programming differences. But with all of that said and done, I mean, we did it. We got all the codes finally out of this 335 swapped E91 wagon. So from here, I'm ready to invest more into the drivetrain. I know that the swap is 100% complete, and we can go on and do some really fun stuff with the car. So I hope that really motivates those of you out there that are trying to do this swap. And if you're wondering what the easiest way to do it is, probably get 2 rear-wheel drive cars, so don't mess with the X-Drive stuff, and get them from the same exact production year and month, because there were some changes between months in certain years. So get them from the same year and month, and it should be just 100% plug and play, unlike this car. But hey, like I said, we learned a lot of stuff. I do have a brake pad light, we know that already, but also this anti-trap function from one of the windows, and I'm wondering if that is a result of the window regulator being broken. But yeah, we definitely need to address that. It's the rear left one. Well, I had some extra time today, so I figured that we would try to replace this window regulator. It turns out it doesn't even have one. Look, there's no motor in here, and it looks like the window is being held up by this. I guess this is actually, look, pretty smart. They reused the broken wire from the regulator to hold up the window. That's some engineering right there. We're gonna go ahead now and remove it though, and we'll replace it with this used regulator that I got off of a parts car. Talk about a couple more things and then close out the video. Now I replaced the regulator, but as you saw a second ago, it was only going up like a couple inches at a time, and then it was only going down a couple inches at a time. And that means that you have to reinitialize the windows. So make sure to have all your doors closed, have the key at position 2. And what you want to do to initialize your windows, you want to take your window at the up position from the master switch here and go ahead and pull it all the way up on the button here. So both button clicks up, and hold that for 10 seconds, count it all the way down, and then you're gonna go ahead and press it down and hold it down, and it should go down on its own without clicking, but hold it all the way down for 10 seconds once it's reached the bottom limit position, and then you should have automatic up and down functionality. So a couple last things to discuss. One big thing is I'm hoping to have like a live Q&A session with you guys here soon, and let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I would love to get some questions ahead of time for what you guys would be interested in hearing about, but I'd love to talk about like my personal history, how I got started as a BMW technician, why I love working on these cars so much, like what my first car was, you know, stuff like that would be fun to talk about, or help answer some of the questions that you guys have about your cars, because I know I get tons of those questions. And honestly, that brings me to my next point that I have to talk about, and that is that I can't help everyone diagnose their cars in the comments, and I wish I had the time to, but unfortunately it's just a rabbit hole to go down, and I would hate to help someone out but not someone else, and then it becomes unfair for everyone. What I would recommend is if you want to have a one-on-one chat with me about your car, some of the issues you're experiencing, or if you need like consultation help or something like that, join the Patreon community, and that way we can have a chat there. I also put behind the scenes content there so you can keep up with some of the builds that we're doing in and out of the shop, so stuff we're doing behind the camera. But just an idea for you guys if you want to help support the channel. I really appreciate you guys who just watch the videos and you like and you comment. That really helps the algorithm out, and more than anything, this channel's been growing because of you guys. So if you enjoy the video, be sure to like and comment down below, and subscribe if you're new and you haven't yet. And as always, I hope everyone has an amazing day. Thanks for listening to me talk so much in this one. We'll see you next time.